Hey there, how's
All
it
right.
going? How's it going, everybody? I'm here with Gus, and we're going to talk about, uh, we're going to talk about ISAs and AI and all kinds of crazy, crazy technology. How's it going, Gus?
Hey, it's going good, Guillermo. I'll be back.
It's going good.
Yeah, definitely. Thanks to everybody for jumping in. We started this one right on the dot. How that's pretty cool because I know, I've been on some of these webinars where it takes us like 5 to 10 minutes to get started for whatever reason. So I'm hyped. I'm hyped that we actually started this one right on the dot. So for the same reason, I want to give people a couple minutes, to jump in before we get started. People that are joining in right now, why don't you drop a message in the chat? Let us know where you're joining from. I always love to see that. Where's everybody joining us from? Just drop a quick, hey there, Shannon. Where you Sherman Oaks. Sherman Oaks. Hey, New Bar, how's it going? Jacob, how's it going? I'm gonna drop mine and I'm gonna say I am in sunny Mexico today. Mexico. Houston, H-Town. Love Houston, love Katy. I lived in Katy for a year. And a beautiful, beautiful area. Lake Arrowhead, California. We're in the Bronx. All right, Bronx. And so yeah, I'm a little bit of an issue, a little bit of an audio issue. Let me make sure I'm hooked up to the right internet. Fix that while you folks are here. Da, 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 da. Okay, good. I think that's okay. That's working better now. Hopefully that's better. All right. Welcome everybody. Welcome to Roseville in Sacramento. A good friend of mine has an office over in Vacaville. So not too far from Sacramento, that area, that part of town. All right. Okay, cool. Awesome. Port St. Lucie. Hey, Chris, welcome, man. Thanks for jumping in. Welcome, everybody. Okay, so we're multiple minutes in. I think it's time for us to get started. Go ahead and start rock and rolling. So, welcome, folks. If you're joining this webinar today, I'm guessing it's because you're interested in this kind of emerging technology, this AI technology that really was onto the scene about a year and a half ago with the emergence of ChatGPT. At the end of 2022, Chat OpenAI kind of changed the of what AI was, what AI do, and came up with this new term, generative AI that could kind of, make things, go think on the fly, way more coherent conversations. It could create images, it can create voice, right? So this thing on the scene. So early last year, I'd say about March, April time, the first AI voice companies started to emerge, right? And before I jump ahead of myself, here's the agenda for today. I'm talking about this, I'm going to bring you up to the history of this voice technology, and I want to get to the state of the art. I want to talk about compliance. I'm going to talk about key scenarios,
Hey,
how to
hey,
get
Gus.
an AI voice bot jumping in. Yeah.
Your voice, your sound is still cutting in and out.
Oh man, what's going on with that? So let me make sure I'm hopefully that yeah, I checked my internet connection and I'm on the right network. I thought I was on the wrong network. I am on the right network. Guillermo, if it starts to get choppy or something, just let me know. I'll try to go back and fix that.
Okay.
Does that work? Okay, I'll do my best. I'll do my best. So I thought I was on my wireless network. Nope, I'm on my wired network. Thank you, internet. So technology is fun, right? So I'm going to talk about scenarios, and I'm going to talk to you guys about real world results. Okay, not some hype cycle, uh, marketing stuff. I'm going to show real numbers,
Yeah,
real
it's it's
calls,
still
real
it's
data.
still getting choppy, Gus.
Oh, let me see. If I can do things. Oh, hold on one second, guys. Hold on one second. See if we can do anything. Let me see if I can try and jump on the. I'll just change the network and see if that doesn't makes any difference. So let me know. Let me know. See if that helps at all. All right.
Right now,
We'll
let's
be.
go ahead.
Yeah, okay, there we go. So share. You guys, can you guys see my screen?
Yeah, I think it's there. You're sharing.
Okay, cool. Awesome, guys. Thanks. All right. So we're going to have real world results here. We're going to actually show you, and we also did a test. I think is really cool. We did a real like a human ISA, and we had AI ISA call the same campaign, like competing
Yeah.
against each other. So that's pretty cool. That was really awesome. And you're going to see side by side results. Okay, what happens if you have a group of leads and you
You're
unleash?
still cutting out, Gus.
And
Yeah.
it's cutting it out. So um, let's see what else we can do here. Let me look. Let me see. Hold on 1 second. Let me see if I can make this any better.
Well, while Gus
I've
works on
got.
his audio, you know, I'll throw in my 2 cents about AI while he's figuring that out. You know, I think that it's a great technology, but I think it does have, like, me and Gus were talking before we started, has its, bad things to it, and it also can create complacency amongst people. So, it's like with anything else, use it wisely, don't overuse it, and know what it's meant to do and what it should do and not what you would like it to do. How's your sound coming, Gus?
Working on it, working on it, work in progress, work in progress. I'm going backup system. Okay, let me try that. Okay, let me see this work. See, hopefully this improves things. Okay, okay. I'm here. I'm here. Okay, let me try sharing my screen. Can you guys hear me now? Same old, same old. Can you hear me? Can you hear me? Yes, no, maybe?
No, it's good now, for right now.
Okay. Okay, there we go. So I'm literally doing this from a hotspot on my phone. That's my plan. I tried the wired connection, plan A. The wireless is no better, plan B. Now I'm on my phone. So hopefully that holds up for a bit. You guys hear me okay? Is that better?
Yeah, lots better.
Okay, good. There we go. All right. There we go. Now let's actually get into the presentation. Okay, great. So, we'll be talking. I was trying to get through this agenda, stumbling through this agenda. We'll be talking about the state of the art, the latest compliance information we have. There's a lot of compliance issues with this technology, and I'll tell you why. Right? There's a huge potential to misuse this technology. I'll talk about that. I'll talk about the key scenarios. I'll talk about actual results from campaigns, calling leads, contacts, appointments, and like I said, ISA versus an AI, the real human ISA versus an AI bot, and kind of what happened there. And at the end, as always, for the people that stay until the end, I'll have a special offer. This should be cool for you guys. So let's jump in, right? Got a few minutes to make up here. So let's go. So folks, drop a one in the chat if you know what this is. This demo went viral last year around July. And this was a demo from a company called Air.ai. This demo went viral on TikTok, went viral on Facebook, and it was an AI appointment setter trying to book a Tesla, test drive. Okay, so if you guys saw that, a lot of people became aware of AI appointment setters because of this demo. It was a very, very popular, got shared millions of times over TikTok, and it was another one of those breakthrough moments, watershed moments in a year, 2023, that felt like it had an AI breakthrough every other week. It kind of felt like, right? AI can do this, AI can do that. And if you've been paying attention, in popular culture, we're seeing a lot of AI voice come out here as well, right? So and not always in a good way, right? Check this out. This, ghost writer made a fake song last summer called "Heart on My Sleeve." If you guys are in the internet culture, TikTok culture, this song went viral, and it was a fake song with two existing artists, Drake and The Weeknd, right? Great artists, hip hop, R&B, rap artists, and they made a fake song with both of them. The companies had to take them off the streaming services because it was illegally made. Okay, this was the first of many aha moments. We started to see the real potential of this technology. People actually believed that song was real. Someone tried to nominate it for a Grammy at the end of 2023. Surprise, surprise, it wasn't eligible. Okay, too bad, right? And this is literally from 2 weeks ago. One of the artists that was copied in that first song from last year made a song himself where he used fake AI voice from Tupac Shakur, another really famous. If you guys are a little older like me, you know who Tupac is. Very famous rapper from the 90s, passed away very tragically, right, in the shooting. And well, Drake thought it would be cool to have him, do a hook in his latest song. He had to remove that too, right? The song was tailor made, and because it was going to be sued by his estate, right? So that is like where popular culture is with this stuff. And some not so funny stories. A school athletic director in the U.S. was arrested, okay, because he used AI voice technology to clone the voice of a principal in his school and fake him making like a racist tirade, okay? And this also went viral. This fake AI voice of someone told them, hey, black people this and black students this, and it wasn't true. It was phony. It was fake. But it was so convincing that this person almost lost their job. Okay. So that is the state of the art of voice AI. It is unbelievably realistic and it is out there in the wild. And it's kind of causing havoc. There's definitely some issues out there. But the bottom line is this technology has arrived, whether we're ready or not. Okay, guys, whether we're ready or not, this technology is here. And the best thing we can do is be prepared for it. Okay, let's go. Next one. So the demo that went viral is from this company called Air AI. But right now, I'm going to say there are four major players in the technology space right now. One of them is Air, still Air, probably one of the ones that has a lot of penetration because they were the first movers. But we've been testing other ones called Simple Talk, very popular US-based company, Synthflow, a UK-based company, also excellent work, and Bland AI, another like Silicon Valley startup. They're from a startup incubator called Y Combinator, YC, who usually makes really big companies like Airbnb and Stripe and other companies like that. Okay, so this space, I think Air probably dominated this space for the first 6 months, middle of 2023 to the end of 2023, but there's way more companies now. And there's only going to be more and more companies generating the platform, the base technology for this. These are the ones that we're looking at, that we're testing out. But guys, in 6 months, there's going to be way more. Okay. There's going to be way more. And most of these companies, at least currently, they use OpenAI under the hood. Okay. Some of them are training their own something called the large language model. This is not a technical webinar. We're not going to get into like the engineering details, but some of these companies are built on ChatGPT and some of them aren't. Okay, I think that's the biggest difference. Some of them use OpenAI and some of them are kind of rolling their own a little bit, or at least they're trying to roll their own, right? Because there's a lot of benefits to having your own technology versus using OpenAI. So that's where we are right now. That's where we started. PowerISA. We looked at this technology last summer. And we thought it had a lot of potential, but we kind of realized very quickly that it wasn't quite there yet. Okay. Last summer, we saw the demo from Air AI. It was really interesting. When we tried it out in real life, it had a lot of lag. That was the number one complaint from customers back then. It took a long time to respond. I think that's a really big thing. And when you're doing calling, that's going to kill you guys. You're going to get hung up on if you're taking too long to acknowledge or to respond to someone. Okay. So we said, you know what? The technology is cool, but it's more novelty than useful. Okay. Last summer, July of 2023. Fast forward to December 2023, early 2024. And when we take another look at this technology, holy cow. Okay. Number one, these other companies have busted onto the scene. It's not just Air AI anymore. And the lag issues, although they're still there, I don't want to say that the lag is completely gone. It is way better than it was even 6 months ago. Okay. Probably like anything with AI, it's advanced by leaps and bounds in just a matter of months, right? And even now, as we're using it right now, we've seen changes and updates and upgrades that it's only getting better. Okay. Only getting better. So let's jump into it, guys. So first, before we jump into like the demos and the numbers, I want to give some quick compliance notes because this is the number one question I got when we were like starting a beta program and inviting people to the beta. This is what people were asking about. Gus, is it legal to use AI to make phone calls in the US, right? and I don't even know the legislation in Canada yet, right? Because we've only ever tested this in the US right now. And the first few months of this technology, guys, it was the Wild West. People were using it for everything. Cold calling, inbound, tech support, sales, right? All this stuff. And without any guidance, without any information. Well, guess what? Early February of this year, the FCC finally gave us some clarity. Okay. They provided some clarity and they said AI generated voices are considered robocalls in the US. Okay. There was a lot of debate. The companies would say, well, it's not really a pre-recorded robocall because it can make up the call as it goes along. No two calls are unique, are the same. The calls are unique. It's having a conversation. It shouldn't be considered a robocall. That's what the companies would say. And the opposing side said it's a robocall because you can call 100,000 people in a few hours and like just bombard them with calls. It's no different in practice than a robocall. Okay? And it can be abused like a robocall. So in February, the FCC sent this guidance that said, guess what? We will no longer, we're going to remove the ambiguity. For FCC purposes, for US purposes, this is considered a robocall, and it is illegal to do in the US. And there was a lot of scamming going on in the US, probably still going on right now, that said, hey, we're cloning people's voices and trying to get them to do something that we want, right? In a much more sophisticated way. Robocalls have been doing that for years. But imagine a robocall on steroids with using generative AI. So that's what the FCC wanted to crack down on. But the rules they make apply to everybody, guys, not just the scammers. Legitimate businesses have to abide by the same rules. And here it said, and they gave us some instructions and some clarity here. There's a whole memo on this, but here's the key part, okay? FCC rules require telemarketers to obtain prior express written consent before you can robocall someone, okay? And this is whether you're using an old robocalling system from before or an AI generated, calling system. It's the same. You have to have express written consent. What does that mean? It means that this can really only be used for inbound internet leads where you ask them to give you express consent. Express consent. What does that mean? Express written consent. Does that mean they have to send me an email? They have to send me a letter, write it down? What does that really mean? And I think people that are already doing this, actually, you can actually look in the wild and see this is already happening. This is a submission form from our good old friends at Zillow.com. Okay. If you look at the fine print in this submission form, right? This is, if you want to contact an agent, this is a form you get on any platform that Zillow owns. It's basically the same form. Ask for your name, phone number, email, and whatever you're looking for, right? So look at the fine print. You're giving Zillow permission to use pre-recorded or artificial voices, okay? It's already there. They're already doing it. They're either testing it out or they know that their clients are using it and they just want to get a blanket, approval for anything that their clients want to do or that Zillow is trying to do. Realtor.com, this is the same form from Realtor.com. They have the exact same thing. Pre-recorded or artificial voice. You're giving them permission to call you, not just a real person, not just to call and text you, but to actually use a pre-recorded artificial voice to call you as well, okay? So this is the current compliance status. Will this be the same 6 months from now, a year from now? I'm actually not sure, guys, because this is the bleeding edge. This is state of the art. I was tracking, we actually had a consultation with our attorney, Alan Mitchell and Allen, probably the #1 telemarketing law attorney in the US. And he is tracking at least 24 pieces of legislation that are trying to rein in AI voice, okay? And not just AI voice, sorry, AI images and AI video and AI voice. It's a very dynamic part of the law right now. Things are, and technology too. And they're trying to catch up and see what they're going to do. There's no clarity yet on what, if anything's going to change. But what we know right now is that there's basically 2 scenarios where it's compliant and legal to use AI voice. New inbound leads that check that box, and leads that are in your database that you haven't contacted yet that have come through an inbound lead channel, okay? So brand new leads that come in that moment and leads that are already in your database that you want to contact. Those are basically the compliance scenario. The illegal scenario is cold calling, okay? Just to make things really simple for you guys. If you don't have express written consent, a checkbox that you have to accept, a written statement, you can't hide this in your privacy policy. A lot of us have done that for a long time. You can't do that here. They're using the same standard as cold texting, okay? In the US, this is the same thing. You can't cold text someone. You've got to have express written consent to text them, right? In any context for sales. So the same standard is being applied to giving people permission to call you with AI words. Okay, cool. Now that I wanted to get the compliance thing out of the way because it's a really common question people have. Let's jump into it. So, all right, Gus, I get it. There's some platforms out there. It's okay to use for inbound leads. Let's rock and roll. Okay, great. This is how you actually get one of these bots, whether it's from Air AI, whether it's from SynthFlow or Simple Talk or whatever. You take one of these platform tools, and these tools come pre-trained for sales and appointment setting. Okay, you can actually get a version of the tool. It can do tech support, or it can do sales and appointment setting. Okay, so it comes kind of pre-trained for one of those two scenarios, but it's a very general training. Obviously, these companies that I mentioned are not real estate companies. They are platform companies. Okay, they're providing the nuts and bolts for you to train and optimize a tool that can be useful for you and your scenario. All right. So you take a platform tool, you've got to train it for real estate. You've got to train it for real estate. And it basically involves generating basically a pretty big prompt that you can use, so people can actually take a look and jump in, and it can learn how to show you how to call real estate leads. That's basically it, guys. You've got to teach it a way to call real estate leads. And it doesn't know how to do that, out of the box. I think that's the key thing I want to show you. I want to show you what a prompt. So a lot of this is based on prompts. If you've used ChatGPT, ChatGPT does stuff based on prompts. Okay. That's basically, that's what it does. And these bots, they work in a really similar way. Let me show you an example of a prompt to train a sales agent. Okay, so this is not like a 3-line thing. Can you guys see that? This is like I won't call it like a 3-page document, right? Where you go over objections, you go over the script, you go over tonality, you go over like pitfalls, phrases to use, phrases not to use. This is a really, it's much more complicated than just creating something that can answer a few basic questions, right? So you've got to train this and design it for real estate and to handle real estate objections, all right? And then once you've trained it for real estate inbound leads, you need to then optimize it for a specific scenario. I'll give you 2 examples. One is inbound leads from Facebook, okay? Inbound leads from Facebook that are using like a lead form ad. Okay, if people are familiar with that, you go on Facebook, you fill out a form, you get a message as the company. That is a different scenario than people that use Google PPC, right? The main difference between a Facebook ad, a Facebook funnel, and a Google PPC funnel is that Google has a link that goes to your landing page and they land on your website and they're browsing homes on your website. Okay. When they come through Facebook, they haven't seen any homes yet. All right. They haven't landed on your website. They might not even know who your company is, quite frankly, right? So you've got to optimize it for that specific scenario. Is it like, are they landing on your website browsing homes? Or have they literally just sent you a message through Facebook that they want like a list of homes? Okay. That's how you get these things ready to go. And then I'll be really honest with you guys, you got to just test it out. You got to do phone calls. You got to have conversations with your bot. And then you're going to find bugs and you're going to fix them. And you're going to evaluate again, fix them again, evaluate again, fix it again. And once we've actually launched these bots into the wild, we're listening to calls and we're making improvements to the script. We're listening to calls and we're making improvements to the bot. The irony of this, guys, is that this is the same process we've used for ISAs for the last 8 years. This is exactly the same way you train a brand new ISA. The difference is, though, that once we're training this AI bot, like it doesn't forget what you told it, okay? It is getting better and better and better with every tweak, every modification you make. It does not forget that at all. And obviously, when you're training a human, a lot of factors come into play. They don't always want to learn. They don't always remember everything you say. And it can be a lot of experience that they need, right? Here, every client that we're working with an AI voice bot from PowerISA is benefiting from the knowledge of every other client. That's never been true for any other ISA, right? We've always improved our training, but we didn't necessarily improve the ISA itself, right? So I think that's pretty wild. And mechanically, this is the logistics of it, okay? This is how PowerISA voice, this is our implementation of this technology. A lead is generated from either Google or Facebook. That's what we've been testing mostly. PowerISA voice is notified, our system's notified, and the AI bot starts calling these leads, okay? When it gets a response, there's really two things that can happen. One is the best one. It books an appointment or does a live transfer. Those are great. But if it doesn't, if let's say the call does not end on a success, the person's either not interested or they hang up or they're not that, they're just not qualified, whatever it happens to be, they're going to go, it's going to send your notes, okay? And these notes get sent all the way back to your actual CRM because all this stuff is stored within our system. Our clients can see that. But ultimately, you want to see it within your own CRM as well, right? So the AI does a pretty decent job, not an amazing job, but a pretty decent job at summarizing the calls, teasing out the key information, and providing a recording of the call, right? Reviewing I cannot, this has always been true for any ISA, AI or real person. You have to listen to the calls to know what really happened. With AI, it's even more important, right? Guys, there is an issue with AI voice, or actually AI bots in general, that is called hallucination, okay? And it is very good at guessing what you want it to say next, and it can make stuff up if you give it the wrong prompt, right? So listening to these calls is very, very key. It's an important part of the training and optimization process. All right, really,
Hey,
really big
Gus,
part of that. Yeah.
real quick, just a random question. Have you guys tested, or do you know, is there a difference in the conversion rate from people opting in that have the additional disclosure for the AI, checkbox or whatever, or is it the same? Does it make a difference?
We didn't see any difference. It's even though it's express written consent, Guillermo, I'm gonna be honest with you guys. I never read those things, right? I mean,
Yeah,
it's
yeah, no, I
there.
know most people.
I
I
I
know
know,
most
I
people
know they're
don't.
gonna. Yeah, no, and it says I think you can kind of read this. They're gonna call or text you. I think people understand that. We haven't seen any difference. Numbers wise, and I'll show the numbers in a sec. I'll show the benchmark, like the typical results, and I want to show the AI. But we didn't see any significant difference because of based on that. Based on that. All right.
Okay.
Great question. Yes. No, we haven't noticed anything in the testing we've done. No different. And I wouldn't have expected one also. So here we go. Great. All right. Okay. So I'm going to start talking about results. But to talk about results, you need a point of comparison, guys. Okay. These were our benchmarks. All right. This is what a human ISA can do. And these results are like a virtual ISA. Someone working like in Mexico, Latin America, maybe even the Philippines. This is what they can typically do. Okay. For inbound leads from either Facebook or Google, typical contact rate is 30 to 40% within 30 days. Okay. This is from phone calls. From phone calls, happening, 16 call attempts in 30 days. Like a pretty intense calling campaign within 30 days. That's what that can yield. About 40, maybe even up to a 50%. That's harder to do nowadays, but it can be up to 50% if you add in texting. Okay. It can be up to 50% if you add in texting. But just calling on its own is not going to give you more than 30-40% within 30 days. Appointments set out of 100 leads within 30 days, you should expect about 10 to 15 appointments booked. Okay. Booked appointments, set appointments. All right. Within the first 30 days, So, remember these numbers. I'll remind you of them when we look at the results next, right? Because this is going to be. Oh, I want to show you guys a demo, obviously, right? I also want to show you guys what this actually sounds like. So I realize I have to share my screen again because I didn't hit the share sound button. So let's do that. So I want to show you guys a demo of what this actually sounds like. Okay, this is the bot that we used to test a lot of this stuff. So let me know if you guys can hear this. Okay, Guillermo, let me know if you guys can hear this.
Hey, Gus.
Hey. Okay.
Hi, it's Sam over at. Hey there. This is Sam from the Carlos Gonzalez team.
So did you guys hear that?
Yeah, we could hear.
Yeah. So that kind of garbled, mumbled beginning of the call is very common with an AI bot. Okay. Because the AI bot tries to listen to get you to respond, has to wait a second to see if you're going to say anything else. And then it kind of starts and it can restart actually. That's a really common scenario for the AI bot to kind of stumble the first couple seconds. That call, we've heard about like 9 seconds of that call, but the first 4 or 5 seconds can be a little bit rough. That is normal. That's actually a typical setup for this.
We received your message on Facebook and I wanted to reach out and see if you've been looking for homes for a while or if you're just getting started.
Just getting started, really.
That's great to hear. We're here to help you find your dream home. In order to assist you better, could you tell me a little about what you're looking for in your next home?
I'm not super sure yet. It's a little early.
No problem at all. It's completely understandable to not have all the details figured out just yet. How about this? What would you like to change about your current home? That might give us a better idea of what you're looking for in your next one.
We just need more space, I guess.
Ah, I see. So you're looking for a home with more space. That's definitely a common desire. Do you currently own or rent a home?
I currently own a home.
Got it. And do you need to sell before you buy your new home?
No.
All right, that's good to know. So do you have an idea of when you'll be ready to make the move?
Oh, I'm at least a year out, probably more.
Wow, that's quite a while out. Just curious, what's holding you back from making a move sooner? Is it something specific or just taking your time to find the perfect home?
I have to wait for my kids to get out of school.
Ah, I understand. Family considerations are important, especially when it comes to your kids' education. Well, when the time is right, we'll be here to assist you in finding the perfect home. In the meantime, let's talk about the resources we have for you. The first is the list of homes under $350,000 that you requested, and the second is a free consultation call with our expert agent, Carlos. Can I set those up for you?
So I'm going to stop it there because the rest is just like booking the appointment and stuff like that, right? So that's basically what this bot can do. And the interesting part about generative AI, Guillermo, and audience here, is that only about half of what you heard the bot say is scripted. Okay, about half of what you heard is actually in the script. The other reactions to, oh, it totally makes sense. Your family waiting for kids. That's, whenever you're ready, we'll be here to help you. That's not scripted. That is the bot using the prompt, using the instructions to come up with an appropriate response, something you would expect a real person to say. Okay, something you would expect them to say. And so half of what you heard is scripted. The other half is just a generative AI coming up with like a logical response to what an appointment setter, like a real estate appointment setter would say, right? To acknowledge, to go on to the next question. It acknowledges, it handles the objection or the question, and it moves on to the next question and moves it along, moves it along, moves it along. Okay. That's the basic structure of these calls. I don't know. People, I've heard this so many times. So many, the voice is always kind of ringing in my head. I don't know what people think about that, but that's the kind of bot that we deployed. And the other ones are very similar to this. You can change the voices, right? You can use like a British male voice, Southern American, like a generic American, male, female. You can have an accent, you can have no accent. It's pretty wild what some of these tools allow you to do. This varies a lot whether you're using Air or SynthFlow or SimpleTalk. They've all got like a dozen different accents and types of voices you can use. And most of them don't have this yet, but they're working on you being able to upload the voice you want, which is crazy, right? You can actually have this use your own voice. You can have this use your own voice. This is not live in all of these tools yet, but that's the next thing that's coming, which I think is pretty wild. So that's what we used in the wild. And I'll be honest with you guys, whenever I hear recordings of these bots, I'm never, it's impressive maybe the first time you hear it. Like, wow, it's amazing. The more you hear it, you're like, this is not, it sounds okay. It does the job. It's a little monotone, a little bit, it can sound a little bit robotic once you hear it enough times. But I promise you that it might not sound really impressive, but that's why you got to remove yourself from the first impression and you got to look at the data. Okay, if that makes sense. That's the first impression. For me, it's always more important to look at the data because you can always cherry pick a demo to sound really, really good or sound so-so. But what are people in the wild actually responding to this thing? What are the actual results? Let's jump into it because we have about 10 minutes left. I want to make sure we get into the results. Okay. Results of our testing so far. All right. Inbound lead results. I chose this campaign. This one is I think this one's in the Northeast US. Leads generated, 71 leads generated. This is from Facebook Homes List ad. Time span that we measured about 2.5 weeks. 71 leads, that's a lot of leads, just so you know. If this were a solo agent, they could not handle that amount of leads. Like no way, shape, or form can you call or competently call 71 leads in 2.5 weeks. It's just too much. You have to do a lot of calls to get these folks on the phone. Got to send a lot of text messages, got to field it, right? The AI bot generated 35 contacts, okay? Phone contacts, like actual conversations with people on the phone, 35. Contact rate, 49% within the first 2.5 weeks. That in and of itself was impressive to us. I think, hey, wow, like this, again, it's not doing anything magical. It's making the call. It's calling every day. The calling plan that we had this on was 7 calls in the first 7 days, in addition to texting, right? 7 calls in the first 7 days. That's it, guys. Like nothing like 18 calls a day. No. We didn't go turbo. We didn't do anything crazy. 1 call per day for the first 7 days. And then we kind of taper off to 1 or 2 calls per week for the next few weeks, right? So, but this is 2.5 weeks in. This basically is just 8-9 calls total, 8-9 call attempts, okay? Appointments, 10 booked appointments, 14% appointment set rate. This is already in the percentage that we would expect a human ISA to be at, okay? For Facebook leads, 14%. And this is not even a full month yet, right? It's going to keep calling these leads. It's going to get more appointments. This is like the initial 2-week set. So this is already, at least when we're talking about appointment set rate, it is already outperforming the average like human ISA out there, okay? If you include the AI, we actually have an AI texting bot as well. It's very common, a lot of people have that. AI texting bot, the contact rate goes from 49 to 60%. If you include the people that only responded to text messages, okay, I'm not mixing the two up. People that only responded to text messages, the contact rate goes up to 60% actually, okay, which is wild. This is, real example happened over the last 30, 90 days, which I think is pretty crazy as an example. But here's the really interesting one, guys. Here's the really interesting one. I see a few comments in there. Okay, great. So we have the AI bots, commenting here, of course, right? So the ISA versus AI results, okay? And this is something, again, this is what I wanted to do, but since we were using actual clients of ours, I didn't know if they wanted to do this, if they would do it, but one of our clients did want to do it. And we only did this with one campaign. This is just one campaign. They had their ISA at the same time, the same days, call the exact same leads, okay? They would call the exact same leads, right? Every single day. And the AI bot would call as well. The AI bot calls instantly. It probably takes it about 10 to 15 seconds to make that first call. The ISA, it takes longer to make that first call, and it does additional calls, etc. Okay, so check this out. This is going to be super interesting. This is what we saw. Okay, this was the campaign. 53 leads, also Facebook Homes List ad, same kind of ad. 53 leads over 2.5 weeks. This is what the AI did. 16 contacts, about 30% contact rate within 2.5 weeks, 3 booked appointments, about a 5% booked appointment rate, okay? The ISA, 14 contacts, about a 26% contact rate, and 2 booked appointments, about a 3% booked appointment rate, okay? So this was really interesting for us, right? Because we were like, okay, we actually honestly didn't know what was going to happen. I had a feeling that the ISA would have an edge because it's a real person. It's going to have, better results, better conversation, better conversion rate. The off of similar number of conversations, the AI did slightly better, right? But in my opinion, these numbers are so close and the sample size is so small that I almost think it's a wash. If the ISA would have talked to two more people, it might have said the exact same number of appointments. Might have said the exact same number. Okay. But here's the really interesting part for us. If you blend both the AI and the ISA working together, which is what happened here, really, you get a 56% contact rate and almost a 10% appointment set rate. Okay. And if you add the AI texting on top of everything, the contact rate jumps to 71%. That's not a typo. 71% of leads responded to that, either texting, human ISA, or AI ISA, right? You got it at 71%. I've never seen anything like that with any kind of follow-up system before. Never, ever, ever, ever. Okay. And that's just within 2.5 weeks. So within 30 days, which is our typical benchmark is within 30 days, this has the potential to be higher with some of these leads, okay? Above 70% contact rate. This is like making calls, guys, 10 years ago, okay? 10 years ago, you could get 50, 60, 70% contact rates, right? Because, almost nobody had an iPhone. There was none of this anti-spam technology. People tended to pick up the phone more. This is when I started calling a decade ago, okay? You could contact a lot of these inbound leads. You get on the phone with a lot of them. You didn't need that many to get a deal like you do now. Contact rates are way down, right? A combination can help you get a really high contact rate. It can be very valuable. Okay. So I'm going to summarize here, guys. We only got a few minutes left. Surprises. The AI voice performed honestly better than what we expected. Okay. Another interesting thing. You heard that call example for Carlos. The AI can speak Spanish. And this is specifically for Air AI. And we use that calling these leads, it would actually switch over to Spanish if needed, which I thought was wild, right? It could do the exact same script. We realize the script it doesn't translate that well, but it'll go into Spanish and answer questions in Spanish. And it actually did a live transfer. I'm not joking, a live transfer from a Spanish speaking client because the AI realized it couldn't handle those questions. So it connected it with an agent and the agent spoke to them and they qualified them as a lead. Native Spanish speaking client for this agent, right? Which I thought was wild. The best combination we saw was ISA plus AI voice plus AI text. That combination, we assumed it was going to be better. We didn't think it was going to be that much better, right? Than just using either AI or an ISA on its own. That is just crazy good combo. To get this up and running, you need 1 or 2 weeks of that optimization, of that tuning, before you can really get these bots ready to go. And we kind of assumed it would take a few days. It takes a few weeks, right, to get these tools optimized before you can start the campaigns, right? But again, this was surprising to us, but with the feedback we get from the calls being made, we make improvements every day. And these bots, once they're deployed, they just tend to get better and better and better at what they're doing for every single person that uses them. I thought that was really, really wild. Didn't expect that to happen so dramatically, and it did. Okay. But guess what? There's some pitfalls. Okay. Right. And I'm known for, I'm not a guy that overhypes and overpromises and underdelivers, right? That's kind of my thing. I'm an engineer by training. So I also want to give you guys the balanced view. Okay. This is not the end all be all, because one of the risks with this technology is that the hype factor, guys, is off the charts right now. Okay. So I want to be real with you guys. There is a novelty factor going on. We could tell on these recordings. People were amused. They thought it was fun to talk to this thing. People have conversations with it. Someone tried pulling its chain. You see all kinds of things. People think it's kind of cool to talk to an AI voice. They've heard about this on the news. They know it's happening. A lot of people were very amused that an AI bot was trying to call them. Okay, I thought that was interesting. Another thing, it is very sensitive to background noise. If there's a lot of background noise, the call is going to go awful. okay? The AI can't tell if the TV's in the background or you're talking or another person. Those calls just went, sideways, right? The AI would just never know when to jump in. It would just be silent, waiting for you to stop talking. But it's the TV in the background. It's very annoying, but it's very sensitive to background noise. Okay. Not all appointments ended up being qualified, quote unquote, real appointments. Okay. Some of them were people that just were curious, thought the novelty factor, they just wanted to talk, and they weren't real qualified leads. But here's a caveat to that. You have the same issue with ISA set appointments. Okay. Not every single ISA human set appointment is a legit lead. Let's be honest about that, right? So we're carrying that over from the human space to the AI space. The exact same thing can happen. In my
Gus,
opinion,
did you guys track what the difference is in regards to, like, did you guys track like how many were not good appointments versus from a live person versus the AI?
We don't have that. What we know is that typically, I'll give you an example, 50% of appointments set, like from Facebook, are no-show, like 50%, right? So, and that can be because they just forgot. It can be because they're unqualified. So, in the testing we have right now, I think about, depending on the campaign, 20 to 30% of those appointments, when you actually spoke to them, they weren't serious about it, right? They had talked, they had booked an appointment, they booked a call, they made a contact, but 20, 30%, I'd say, did it just because it was an AI and they thought it was cool, right? So it's in the same ballpark, I'd say. But no, I don't really have a great number on what is the difference. I can just speak to the fact that you have that issue with both. You can have that issue with both, where you're not fully qualified, not a fully ready to go lead, just because they accepted the appointment. Does that make sense?
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah. And again, this is going to be my opinion as, a person that, has done this for years and years and years. I think that, because the question is, does this fully replace a human yet? Right? Gus, can I fire all my IAs? Because I've heard teams, and one of them is a member of LCA, a very prominent member of LCA, saying, hey, they let go of their ISAs. They're replacing them with AI, right? And in my opinion, what this thing does really, really well right now, 2024, we're recording this in May of 2024, okay? Right now, what it does amazingly well is that first contact, okay? It is really good at getting that first contact. It is not good. It cannot do the second conversation, third conversation, fourth conversation. Not yet, okay? Not yet. It can't do nurturing, all right? So just based on that, it cannot fully replace a human ISA, in my opinion, right? Because teams need that, all right? They cannot put all of these leads on the plates of their agents, at least not immediately. And it can do cold calling. Just off the bat, it can't do prospecting, which is one of the most valuable things to do right now, which is prospect for sellers. All right. So
Right.
I think that an AI-enabled ISA, like you guys saw from the data, that's a killer combination, or an AI-enabled agent. Let's say you don't have an ISA, right? You only have AI helping you identify the hand raisers and you're giving them a call. I think the AI-enabled agent or the AI-enabled ISA, that's where the big win is, right? That's what we're going to see more and more of. Some teams might reduce the number of ISAs they have, for sure. I have seen teams do that because they used to have one or two dedicated people just doing that first contact. They might not need that anymore, right? They might need less people, right? Anyways, last slide, I promise. Special offer. If you guys want to sign, you've been seeing it in the chat throughout the talk. You want to sign up and be one of these beta testers, PowerISA Voice. Enjoy 50% off the cost for the next year. It's a one-time setup fee and then a per minute usage fee because that's what the platforms charge. And you get access to unlimited amount of leads, unlimited amount of campaigns. So if people are interested in that, check out the website, powerisa.com/LCA. And we're a little bit over time, but I appreciate you guys for joining us until the end. We had great attendance on this one. Appreciate you guys. Thank you so much.
Thanks a lot, Gus.
All right.